There's a moment in every journey where the weight of frustration feels heavier than your ability to keep moving forward. Maybe you felt it standing at the edge of change but unable to take the next step. Today I want to tell you that your breakthrough isn't just a distant dream. It's right there within your grasp. But to claim it, something in you must rise. The first thing you need to do is identify the barrier. What's standing between you and the life you've envisioned? Is it fear? Self-doubt? A sense of inadequacy? You cannot overcome what you refuse to confront. Be honest about what's holding you back and don't give it more power than it deserves. Next, it's time to shift your perspective. Stop looking at your challenges as permanent fixtures. What if the opposition you're facing isn't there to stop you but to prepare you? Sometimes the walls you see are just mirrors reflecting your own strength, waiting for you to push harder. Your breakthrough isn't something you go out to find, it's already in you. You need to activate your potential. The talents, the resilience, the vision, it's been there all along. You've just been too focused on what you lack to see the abundance that's already within. But listen closely, refuse to settle for less than what you're capable of. Breakthroughs don't come to people who stay in their comfort zones. You must make a decision to step out, even when it's scary, even when you feel unqualified. Growth doesn't happen in ease, it happens in motion. And here's where the rubber meets the road. Take action boldly. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for someone to hand you permission. Start where you are with what you have. Your faith becomes real in the steps you take, not in the words you say. Finally, hold tight to hope. Stay anchored in hope because breakthroughs are not always immediate. They require persistence, belief, and the ability to see beyond the present struggle. Hope is what keeps you fighting when everything around you says give up. The breakthrough you need isn't something you wait for, it's something you decide to step into. Today is your day to decide. Will you let the barrier stop you, or will you push through it? Will you see your situation as a limitation or an opportunity? The choice is yours, but the breakthrough is waiting. Let's claim it. The first step in any breakthrough is to identify the barrier. This is a crucial moment because many people spend years, sometimes their entire lives, unable to move forward simply because they can't pinpoint what's really holding them back. It's easy to get caught up in surface level frustrations, the small daily annoyances or general feelings of being stuck. But the truth is, until you take the time to dig deep and truly recognize what the barrier is, you're unlikely to break through it. Identifying the barrier goes beyond acknowledging external circumstances. It requires looking inward and asking yourself, what's really stopping me from moving forward? Is it the situation around me, or is it something deeper within me? Often we find that the biggest barriers aren't the circumstances themselves, but our perception of those circumstances. The fears, doubts, insecurities, or past hurts that we've allowed to shape the way we approach life are the silent forces at play in our decision-making process. They're the internal chains that hold us back even when the door is wide open in front of us. For some, the barrier may be fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of not being enough. Fear can be a powerful and deceptive barrier. It's often the reason people don't pursue their dreams or take the necessary risks to move forward. Fear whispers lies in our ears, telling us that we aren't capable, that we'll never succeed, that we'll embarrass ourselves or let others down. And because fear is such a powerful force, it paralyzes us from even trying. But the reality is, fear is rarely an accurate reflection of reality. It's more of an emotional response to the unknown, to uncertainty, and to the possibility of things not going as planned. The barrier of fear must be acknowledged and reframed. You must look at your fear not as something to avoid, but as a signal that you're on the verge of something important. When you step forward in spite of fear, you begin to break through. For others, the barrier may be self-doubt. This is when we question our worth, our abilities, or our potential. It's an insidious force because it doesn't always appear as loud or dramatic as fear. It's more subtle, creeping into our thoughts like a shadow. It says, you're not as good as they are, or there are people who are more qualified than you. Self-doubt can prevent you from even taking the first step toward a breakthrough. The key here is to understand that self-doubt is not a reflection of your true potential. It's simply a manifestation of your insecurities and past experiences. Recognizing self-doubt as an external influence, not an internal truth, is essential in breaking through it. Reaffirming your strengths, focusing on your past victories, and shifting your mindset from I can't to I will start to dismantle this barrier. Other barriers can be external, such as difficult life circumstances, societal expectations, or even relationships that drain you. External barriers are often easier to point to. They are the visible things that we can easily blame for our lack of progress. However, while these obstacles are real, they often hold less power over us than we think. The external world cannot dictate your future unless you allow it to. Circumstances, no matter how challenging, are often temporary. The key is not allowing these things to define who you are or what you're capable of. When you can shift your focus from the difficulty of your circumstances to the possibilities that exist despite those circumstances, you begin to change the narrative and weaken the power of those external barriers. Another barrier that often goes unnoticed is the barrier of comfort. Sometimes we are our own biggest obstacles. We get comfortable with the way things are, even if it's not the life we really want. Comfort can be deceiving because it lures us into thinking that as long as things are familiar, they are safe. But comfort is often the enemy of growth. When you stay in a comfortable place for too long, you begin to stagnate. You may find yourself complaining about your situation, yet not taking the necessary steps to change it. It's easy to get caught in a cycle of routine and complacency. The breakthrough comes when you make the conscious decision to disrupt your comfort zone. It means embracing discomfort even when it feels uncertain, because you know that on the other side of discomfort lies growth and transformation. Once you've identified the barriers, the next step is not just to recognize them, but to accept them. Acknowledging the truth of what's holding you back doesn't mean giving up. It means you're finally ready to do something about it. The breakthrough doesn't come from ignoring the problem or pretending it doesn't exist. It comes from facing it head on. When you know what the barrier is, you can begin to dismantle it. You begin to see it for what it truly is, a challenge that can be overcome, a wall that can be broken through, a fear that can be conquered. The key is understanding that no barrier is insurmountable unless you allow it to be. Recognizing the barrier is the first essential step. Without it, you will continue to fight the same battles day in and day out without ever understanding why you're not progressing. But once you identify what's standing between you and your breakthrough, you can start to formulate a plan for overcoming it. You can take steps one by one to dismantle that barrier and move forward toward the breakthrough that is waiting for you. The breakthrough isn't about some distant, perfect moment. It's about the decision to face your barrier today and move beyond it, no matter how big or small that step may be. Shifting your perspective is one of the most powerful and transformative actions you can take when pursuing a breakthrough. It's easy to get caught in a negative cycle, especially when faced with challenges, obstacles, or setbacks. The way we perceive our circumstances often shapes our responses to them. And if we look at a challenge as something insurmountable, something that's meant to break us, that's exactly what it will do. But if we can begin to shift our perspective and see those same challenges as opportunities for growth, learning, and transformation, we can begin to unlock the breakthrough we need. When facing obstacles, it's natural to feel frustration, anger, or even hopelessness. These emotions are real and valid, but they are also temporary. If we allow them to dictate how we view the situation, we become stuck in a place of negativity. The shift in perspective begins when we make a conscious decision to step outside of our immediate emotional reactions and ask ourselves a powerful question: what can I learn from this? When you view every obstacle as an opportunity to learn something new about yourself or your situation, you start to transform adversity into a tool for personal growth. The truth is, challenges are not inherently bad. They don't define your worth or limit your potential. In fact, the most significant breakthroughs in life often come from the most difficult moments. Think about the times in your life when you face struggles or hardship. In the moment, they may have seemed like insurmountable walls. But looking back, didn't you learn something invaluable? Didn't you grow in ways you never expected? Every challenge is like a weight placed on a muscle, and the muscle has to strain and stretch in order to grow stronger. Without that weight, the muscle wouldn't develop. Similarly, without challenges, our character, resilience, and strength would remain stagnant. Shifting your perspective doesn't mean ignoring the difficulty of a situation or pretending that everything is okay when it's not. It's not about denying your feelings or avoiding the reality of your circumstances. It's about choosing to view the challenge from a different angle. Instead of seeing it as a dead end, you begin to see it as a detour. Instead of perceiving it as an obstacle, you begin to view it as a stepping stone. When you choose this mindset, you stop feeling like a victim of your circumstances and start recognizing that you are in control of how you respond to them. One way to help shift your perspective is to start focusing on the long-term benefits of facing adversity. Sometimes it's easy to get overwhelmed by the immediate stress and difficulty of a situation. The key is to step back and remember that growth and breakthroughs are often the result of enduring discomfort and facing challenges head-on. This doesn't mean rushing the process or forcing yourself to be happy or positive all the time. It means giving yourself permission to experience the difficulty, but also recognizing that this moment is temporary and the growth that comes from it will lead to something greater. Another powerful tool in shifting your perspective is reframing your thoughts. Reframing is a technique where you intentionally change the way you view a situation, often by looking at it through a new lens or a more empowering viewpoint. For example, instead of thinking, "I can't do this," try thinking, "I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm learning and growing along the way." Instead of viewing setbacks as failures, see them as feedback, valuable lessons that teach you what doesn't work so you can refine your approach. Instead of saying, "This is too hard," shift your focus to, "This is challenging, but I am capable of rising to it." The language you use with yourself directly impacts your mindset. Positive, empowering language changes your perception of the situation and strengthens your resilience. Part of shifting your perspective also involves embracing the idea that not everything is in your control, and that's okay. We often try to control things that are beyond our reach, such as the actions of others or the outcomes of certain situations. But when you accept that you can only control your actions, thoughts, and responses, you free yourself from the pressure of needing everything to go perfectly. You stop trying to manipulate the circumstances around you and focus instead on what you can do within your own sphere of influence. This shift in thinking takes the burden off of you, allowing you to approach challenges with greater clarity and peace of mind. It's also helpful to remember that every time you choose to shift your perspective, you are reprogramming your mind for success. Our brains are wired to find patterns, and the more you choose to view challenges as opportunities, the more your brain will naturally look for growth in difficult situations. Over time, you start to condition yourself to see solutions rather than problems, possibilities rather than limitations. This shift in mindset can transform how you approach every aspect of your life, whether it's your career, relationships, or personal growth. You become a person who sees challenges not as something to fear or avoid, but as an inevitable and valuable part of the journey. Shifting your perspective also involves a sense of gratitude. Gratitude might seem counterintuitive when you're facing difficulty, but research shows that people who practice gratitude regularly have a more positive outlook and greater resilience. Gratitude helps us shift our focus from what's wrong to what's right. It helps us acknowledge the small victories and the lessons we've learned, even in the midst of hardship. When you cultivate an attitude of gratitude, you create space for more positive energy, which helps you approach challenges with a sense of hope and possibility. The breakthrough you need is often waiting just beyond your current perspective. When you choose to shift the way you see your circumstances, you unlock the door to growth and transformation. It's not always easy, and it requires intentional effort, but the rewards are immense. Shifting your perspective gives you the power to not only navigate challenges, but to thrive in the midst of them. By choosing to see your obstacles as opportunities, you open up new pathways to success, and you equip yourself with the mental and emotional resilience needed to achieve the breakthrough you've been waiting for. Activating your potential is one of the most important steps in experiencing the breakthrough you need. Often we go through life unaware of the incredible capabilities that lie dormant within us, waiting to be unlocked. We often underestimate ourselves or fail to see our own power because we're too focused on our limitations, our shortcomings, or the things we don't have. The breakthrough you're seeking isn't about acquiring something new or waiting for an external change. It's about tapping into the potential that's already inside you, unleashing the gifts, talents, and strengths that you may not even realize you have. Activating your potential is about recognizing that you have everything you need to move forward. It's already within you. The first step in activating your potential is believing in it. Many people struggle with self-doubt or lack of confidence, and this can be one of the biggest barriers to personal growth. When you don't believe in yourself, you'll never fully tap into what you're capable of. Self-belief is the foundation of potential activation. It's the belief that you are capable of more, that you have the strength to overcome obstacles, and that you possess unique qualities and abilities that can help you achieve your goals. This belief doesn't come from perfection or being without flaws, but from recognizing that your value doesn't depend on the opinions of others or external circumstances. It comes from the deep-rooted understanding that you have something valuable to offer, something only you can contribute. Once you believe in your potential, the next step is to recognize that it's already there. It doesn't need to be created or earned. It simply needs to be activated. Many people spend their lives chasing after the perfect opportunity or the right moment, waiting for something external to trigger their success. But the truth is, everything you need is already within you. You've had the experiences, the challenges, and the wisdom that have shaped you into who you are. The question isn't about whether you have what it takes, it's about whether you're willing to step into it and take action. Your potential is not something that needs to be manufactured, it's something that needs to be uncovered and put into motion. Activating your potential also means shedding the limiting beliefs that have held you back for so long. These beliefs often come from past experiences, societal conditioning, or the voices of others that have told you who you are or what you can and cannot do. But you are not bound by those limitations unless you choose to be. It's essential to examine the stories you've been telling yourself about your potential and ask yourself whether they are true or simply narratives created from fear or past failures. Once you start to challenge these limiting beliefs and replace them with empowering truths, you begin to break through the barriers that have kept you stuck. Instead of thinking, I can't do this, start thinking, I am capable of this and I can find a way forward. Another crucial aspect of activating your potential is embracing growth and change. Your potential isn't something that's stagnant, it's something that grows and evolves over time. The more you challenge yourself, the more you push yourself out of your comfort zone, the more your potential expands. When you get comfortable with the process of growth and are willing to embrace discomfort and failure as part of the journey, you set yourself up for the breakthrough you seek. Growth doesn't happen when you're playing it safe or staying within the boundaries of what you already know. It happens when you take risks, make mistakes, and learn from them. In fact, your greatest lessons and moments of activation often come from the times when things don't go as planned. This is why failure is not your enemy. It's an essential part of the process. Every failure is an opportunity to learn something new about yourself, your goals, and what it truly takes to succeed. The next step in activating your potential is setting clear and intentional goals. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the idea of activating your potential, especially if you don't have a clear sense of direction. The key to moving forward is to break down your larger vision into actionable steps. Having specific, measurable goals gives you something concrete to work toward. When you set clear goals, you create a roadmap for activating your potential and turning your dreams into reality. These goals serve as a guide, helping you stay focused and motivated as you take intentional actions toward growth. It's important to remember that goals are not just about the end result, they are about the process, the journey, and the person you become along the way. Another aspect of activation is taking ownership of your decisions and actions. Too often, people wait for others to give them permission to pursue their dreams or take the next step. But the truth is, your potential is yours to claim. You don't need validation from anyone else to start pursuing what you're capable of. You are the one who has the power to activate your potential. This requires a mindset shift from being passive to being proactive. Stop waiting for the perfect time or the right set of circumstances. You don't need everything to align perfectly in order to move forward. Take action now with what you have and let that action build momentum. The more you act, the more you activate your potential, and the more you will see doors open that you didn't even know existed. As you activate your potential, it's also important to surround yourself with people who believe in you and support your growth. The environment you're in plays a significant role in your ability to step into your potential. If you're surrounded by negativity, doubt, or people who limit your dreams, it's going to be much harder to activate your potential. On the other hand, when you surround yourself with individuals who encourage you, challenge you, and see your greatness, you're more likely to rise to your full potential. Seek out mentors, friends, and communities who can push you to grow and help you see your value, even when you can't see it yourself. Ultimately, activating your potential is a journey of self-discovery and courage. It's about recognizing the immense power and capability that lie within you and making the conscious decision to step into it. Your breakthrough isn't a result of finding something outside yourself. It's about realizing that the breakthrough is already inside you, waiting to be activated. The only thing standing in your way is whether you choose to unlock it or not. As you take action, challenge your beliefs, and push beyond your comfort zone, you will begin to see just how much you're capable of. Your potential is limitless. It's time to tap into it. Refusing to settle is a fundamental aspect of creating the breakthrough you need. It's about having the courage to demand more from your life and not accepting mediocrity, no matter how comfortable it may seem. Settling often arises from a place of fear or complacency, where the risk of change feels greater than the reward. It's easy to get caught in the cycle of routine and comfort, where things aren't great, but they're not terrible either. However, this in-between space can be a trap, a place where you simply exist without truly living. The breakthrough you need comes when you draw a line in the sand and say, I will not settle for anything less than my best. The decision to refuse to settle requires a shift in mindset. It's not about being dissatisfied or constantly unhappy with where you are, but rather it's about recognizing your own potential and understanding that you're capable of more. Settling happens when you lower your expectations of yourself or your circumstances to avoid discomfort or disappointment. But here's the truth: when you refuse to settle, you are acknowledging that you are made for more, that your circumstances don't define your potential, and neither do your past mistakes, fears, or limitations. The breakthrough comes when you decide that your current situation, no matter how stable it may seem, is not enough because you are destined for something greater. Refusing to settle requires a willingness to take risks. Growth does not happen in a space of comfort. It happens when we stretch ourselves beyond what we know. But it's easy to stay in situations that are good enough because they provide a sense of safety. The fear of failing, the fear of uncertainty, and the fear of the unknown keep us locked in that space. But if you continue to accept good enough or just okay, you will never see your true potential. The real breakthrough lies in the willingness to step out of that safe zone and venture into the unknown, to take action even when the outcome isn't guaranteed. By refusing to settle, you open up the possibility for something greater, something better than you ever imagined. When you settle, you limit your own growth. Every time you compromise on your dreams, whether consciously or unconsciously, you're telling yourself that you're not worthy of more. And the longer you allow this mindset to dominate, the more difficult it becomes to break free. The impact of settling can be subtle, but it's profound. It causes you to accept less than ideal circumstances, relationships, and opportunities, even when deep down you know you deserve better. Over time, this acceptance wears down your sense of self-worth and limits your vision of what's possible for you. But refusing to settle is about reclaiming that worth. It's about looking at your current situation and saying, this is not my final destination. Refusing to settle means acknowledging that you are deserving of the best, and the best is not always the easiest path. It requires courage and strength to make the decision to push beyond where you are, even if that means facing difficulties along the way. At the heart of refusing to settle is the decision to be intentional about your life. Many people live their lives on autopilot, going through the motions without ever really considering if they're on the path they want to be on. Settling often occurs when we allow life to happen to us rather than actively choosing the direction of our lives. The breakthrough you need begins with intentionality. When you refuse to settle, you are taking ownership of your choices, your actions, and your future. You're saying that you won't wait for things to improve on their own. Instead, you will take deliberate steps to create the life you want. This requires vision, focus, and commitment. Refusing to settle also requires redefining success. Too often we equate success with external achievements such as money, status, or approval from others. But the true measure of success is internal. It's about how aligned you are with your values, purpose, and potential. When you settle for a life that doesn't reflect who you truly are or what you truly want, you are living someone else's definition of success. Refusing to settle means redefining success on your own terms. It's about determining what fulfillment looks like for you and refusing to accept anything less. This might involve redefining your career path, your relationships, or your lifestyle in a way that aligns with your deep desires. By refusing to settle for a life that doesn't resonate with your true self, you unlock the doors to your breakthrough. It's also important to understand that refusing to settle doesn't mean being unrealistic or striving for perfection. It's not about expecting everything to be perfect or making decisions based on idealized fantasies. Rather, it's about striving for excellence in all areas of your life, doing the best you can with what you have and continually pushing yourself to grow. Perfectionism can often hold people back from refusing to settle because they fear they will never achieve their ideal vision. But the truth is, refusing to settle isn't about perfection. It's about striving for progress and improvement. It's about rejecting complacency and the idea that things are good enough when they can be better. You may never have everything figured out, and things may not always go according to plan, but the key is to keep moving forward with purpose and determination. Refusing to settle also requires you to have the courage to let go of things that no longer serve you. Sometimes we settle because we're holding on to relationships, situations, or habits that are familiar but not beneficial. Letting go can be one of the hardest steps in refusing to settle. It means leaving behind what is comfortable but unfulfilling in order to make room for something better. Whether it's a job, a relationship, a belief, or a habit, you must be willing to release what no longer aligns with your vision for your life. Letting go opens up space for growth and allows you to move forward with clarity and purpose. When you refuse to settle, you're not just pursuing your breakthrough for yourself, you're also inspiring those around you to do the same. Your decision to raise the bar in your own life will encourage others to question their own complacency and take action toward their own breakthroughs. The ripple effect of refusing to settle extends far beyond your own personal growth. It inspires a collective shift toward higher standards, greater possibilities, and more meaningful lives. The breakthrough you need is waiting for you on the other side of settling. It's in the moment when you decide that your life is worth more than just getting by. It's worth living with purpose, intention, and fulfillment. Refuse to settle for a life that's less than what you're capable of. When you make the decision to break free from mediocrity, you create the space for your true potential to shine. It's not easy, and it's not always comfortable, but it's worth it. Your breakthrough is waiting for you, but first, you must refuse to settle. Embracing discomfort is one of the most critical actions you can take on the path to a breakthrough. It's easy to stay in our comfort zones, avoiding the stress, uncertainty, and potential failure that come with stepping into something new. But the reality is that growth does not happen in the safety of what's familiar. True transformation, whether it's in your personal life, career, or relationships, comes from your willingness to face discomfort head on. The breakthroughs that we crave, the ones that truly change the trajectory of our lives, are often found on the other side of that discomfort. We live in a culture that places a high value on comfort. Our homes are designed to be safe havens where we retreat from the world's challenges. Technology allows us to connect and entertain ourselves without having to leave our seats. The world has made it easier than ever to avoid discomfort in all its forms. But what often goes unnoticed is that comfort, while seemingly pleasant, can be a trap. When you are constantly avoiding discomfort, you are also avoiding the growth that only comes through pushing beyond your limits. Discomfort is not an enemy, it is a necessary part of the growth process. The first thing to understand about discomfort is that it is not an indicator of failure or a sign that something is going wrong. In fact, discomfort is a sign that you are moving in the right direction. It's a signal that you are expanding beyond what you know and are being stretched in new ways. The most successful and impactful people in the world didn't get to where they are by avoiding discomfort. They embraced it as a part of the process, a necessary companion on their journey toward success. The discomfort that you feel when you step into something unknown or difficult is the very thing that will propel you forward. It is not something to fear, but something to embrace as part of your transformation. One of the reasons we avoid discomfort is because of the fear of failure. We worry that if we try something new or step into unfamiliar territory, we'll fail. and that failure will reflect poorly on us. However, failure is not the enemy. Failure is a teacher. Every failure is an opportunity to learn, adapt, and grow. When you step into discomfort, you are allowing yourself to fail and learn in the process. Every time you try and fall short, you gain valuable insight that brings you closer to your breakthrough. In fact, failure often leads to the biggest breakthroughs because it forces you to think outside the box, reevaluate your strategy, and make adjustments that you wouldn't have considered if everything were easy. By avoiding discomfort, you avoid the lessons that come with failure. By embracing discomfort, you open yourself up to a wealth of knowledge that can guide you towards success. Another reason we shy away from discomfort is because we fear the unknown. When you're faced with a situation where the outcome is uncertain, it can be terrifying. It's hard to take the first step when you don't know where the path will lead. But the unknown is where possibility lies. If everything were predictable and safe, life would become stagnant. The greatest opportunities and breakthroughs in life are often found in places where there is uncertainty. Learning to embrace the unknown is one of the most powerful ways to activate your potential. When you embrace discomfort, you are signaling to yourself that you are willing to take risks and explore the limitless possibilities that exist beyond your comfort zone. So it's so important to understand that discomfort is a sign of progress. When you challenge yourself to try new things, to push past your fears, and to venture into unfamiliar territory, you will inevitably experience discomfort. This discomfort doesn't mean you are doing something wrong. It means you are growing. Growth requires resistance. Think of it like a muscle. In order for a muscle to grow stronger, it must be subjected to resistance through weightlifting or other forms of exercise. The muscle tears, and then over time it rebuilds stronger than before. Similarly, when you face discomfort, you are being stretched and tested. And when you push through it, you become stronger, more resilient, and better equipped for the next challenge. Discomfort also brings clarity. Sometimes we avoid discomfort because we don't want to face the reality of our situation or our feelings. But when you step into discomfort, you are forced to confront what's really going on. It's easy to ignore the things we need to work on when everything is comfortable. But discomfort forces us to face the hard truths and make decisions that lead to growth. Whether it's addressing a difficult conversation, making a tough decision, or pursuing a new direction in life, discomfort brings clarity because it forces us to deal with the things that we may have been avoiding. It's only when we face discomfort that we can gain the clarity we need to move forward in a more authentic and purposeful way. Learning to embrace discomfort is also a practice in building resilience. The more you step into discomfort, the better you become at handling it. Resilience isn't something you're born with. It's something you develop over time through your experiences. Each time you face a challenging situation and push through it, you strengthen your ability to cope with future challenges. Resilience allows you to stay focused on your goal even when the road gets tough. It helps you persevere, knowing that discomfort is not permanent and that growth will eventually follow. By making discomfort your ally, you cultivate the mental toughness and determination that are essential for creating lasting change in your life. It's important to recognize that discomfort doesn't always mean physical pain or extreme difficulty. Discomfort can come in many forms. It could be the emotional discomfort of stepping out of your comfort zone socially, or the mental discomfort of facing an unknown challenge in your career. Whatever form it takes, discomfort is a sign that you are on the edge of something new. When you stop running from it, you will find that it is not as overwhelming as it seems. Instead, it becomes a signal that you are evolving, expanding, and preparing for something greater. When you begin to embrace discomfort, you begin to unlock your true potential. You allow yourself to grow beyond the limitations you once placed on yourself. It may not always be easy, and there will be moments of doubt and struggle, but embracing discomfort is one of the most powerful decisions you can make in your journey toward breakthrough. It's in those moments of discomfort that you discover the depth of your strength, the breadth of your potential, and the power of your perseverance. Embrace the discomfort, and you'll find that it's the very thing that will lead you to the breakthrough you've been waiting for. The power of consistency is often underestimated in the journey to breakthrough. It's easy to get excited about a new goal or vision and put in a burst of energy at the start. However, lasting success doesn't come from short bursts of effort. It comes from consistent daily action over time. It's in the small, repetitive actions done day after day that you begin to see real change and progress. The breakthrough you need doesn't happen overnight. It happens through the steady commitment you make to keep moving forward, even when the results aren't immediately visible. One of the reasons consistency is so powerful is because it builds momentum. In the beginning, any new endeavor can feel difficult. You may not see results right away, and you may question whether your efforts are even worth it. But consistency breeds momentum. The more you show up and put in the work, the more progress you begin to see. It's like pushing a boulder up a hill. At first, it feels heavy and almost impossible to move, but as you continue to push, it starts to roll on its own. The key is to keep showing up, even when you don't feel like it, and even when it feels like you're not making much headway. Momentum takes time to build, but once it does, the progress you've been working for becomes easier to sustain. Consistency also creates habits. We are all creatures of habit, and our daily actions shape who we are and what we become. When you make something a consistent practice, you begin to internalize it. Over time, what was once difficult or uncomfortable becomes second nature. This is the power of habit. If you want to reach your breakthrough, you need to build habits that align with your goals. Whether it's committing to a daily workout, dedicating time to learning, or making consistent progress on a project, these small daily actions add up. Eventually, what once felt like a challenge becomes something that you do without thinking. Consistency takes the effort out of success and turns it into a process that flows naturally. Moreover, consistency teaches you discipline. It's easy to start something when you're motivated, but motivation fades over time. It's the discipline to continue when you don't feel like it that separates those who succeed from those who fall short. Discipline is what allows you to keep going even when you encounter obstacles, setbacks, or moments of doubt. It's the ability to show up every day even when you don't feel motivated, because you know that the process is just as important as the outcome. The more you commit to showing up consistently, the stronger your discipline becomes. You learn to rely on your commitment, not just on your emotions or the fleeting excitement of the moment. Consistency also breeds resilience. When you are consistently putting in the effort, you inevitably encounter challenges along the way. But by staying consistent, you build the mental and emotional resilience needed to handle those challenges. Every setback, failure, or difficult moment becomes an opportunity to grow stronger. With each obstacle you overcome, your belief in yourself and your ability to persevere grows. It's not the absence of challenges that leads to breakthrough. It's the consistent, determined approach to overcoming those challenges that creates lasting success. Consistency teaches you that failure is not the end, but a part of the process, and that resilience is built over time through consistent effort. In addition, consistency brings clarity. It's easy to get overwhelmed by big goals or long-term visions. It can be hard to see how you'll ever get from where you are to where you want to be. But when you focus on consistency, you break down the overwhelming task into manageable steps. You no longer need to worry about how everything will work out in the future, because you're focused on the present moment and the next step in front of you. With each consistent action, you gain more clarity about the next step to take. You start to see patterns, you start to learn from your mistakes, and you start to refine your approach. Over time, the clarity that comes from consistent effort helps you navigate the journey more effectively and with more confidence. Consistency also fosters a sense of accountability. When you commit to something on a consistent basis, you begin to hold yourself accountable for your progress. The more you show up, the more you realize that your success or failure is directly tied to the effort you put in. It's easy to make excuses when things aren't going as planned, but consistency forces you to face reality. If you're not seeing the results you want, you have to ask yourself why and make adjustments. This accountability to yourself drives improvement. It encourages you to keep going even when things get tough. You stop looking for external reasons for your progress and instead take responsibility for the actions that lead to success. In the pursuit of a breakthrough, consistency allows you to stay focused on the long-term vision rather than being distracted by short-term results. In a world of instant gratification, it's easy to want quick results, but breakthroughs don't happen instantly. They happen over time through sustained effort and determination. When you stay consistent, you are investing in the future version of yourself. You are trusting the process, even when the rewards aren't immediate. This long-term focus is what sets successful individuals apart from those who give up when the going gets tough. It's the ability to keep going even when you can't see the finish line that ensures you will eventually reach it. Lastly, consistency builds confidence. The more you show up and put in the work, the more confident you become in your ability to achieve your goals. Confidence comes from proving to yourself that you can take consistent action, that you can stick with something even when it's hard, and that you can overcome challenges along the way. Every small success, every day you show up and put in the effort boosts your belief in your own capabilities. Confidence doesn't come from wishing for success, it comes from taking consistent action and building a track record of progress over time. The breakthrough you need is found in the power of consistency. It's not the flashy moments of inspiration or the bursts of motivation that create lasting change. It's the steady, unwavering commitment to showing up every day, no matter how small the steps may seem. When you embrace consistency, you align your actions with your goals, and you give yourself the best chance of success. Keep moving forward, keep showing up, and trust that your consistent effort will lead you to the breakthrough you've been waiting for.